Let's be completely honest for a second. If you were watching this at 1 a.m., surrounded by open tabs, feeling entirely burnt out but too guilty to go to sleep, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen to me. You have been lied to. We've all been sold this toxic myth that the only way to get a 4.0 or to be at the top of your class is to suffer. We think the smartest kids in the room are the ones pulling 12-hour study sessions and drinking their body weight in cold brew. But they aren't. In fact, if you actually look at the psychology of people with incredibly high IQs, they don't do any of that. They actually study way less than you do. Because they aren't grinding, they are being lazy. But they are being a very specific, highly strategic kind of lazy. Today, we are going to talk about 7 lazy study habits that high IQ individuals use to work with their brain's natural rhythms instead of fighting against them. And by the end of this video, I'm going to give you permission to finally close your laptop. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, they apply the bare minimum filter. When most of us get a textbook chapter assigned, we start at word 1 and read to the end. We highlight everything. We try to memorize every single date, name, and formula because we're terrified of missing something. High IQ students are too lazy for that. They use the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. They know that 80% of the exam grade is going to come from just 20% of the material. Instead of reading the whole chapter, they skip straight to the chapter summary. They look at the vocabulary list. They look at the past exam papers. They figure out exactly what the teacher actually cares about, and they only study that. They aren't doing the maximum amount of work. They're doing the minimum amount of the right work. Habit number 2 is my favorite. It's the art of intentional quitting. How many times have you told yourself, I am not leaving this desk until I finish this entire math set? Even when your brain feels like mush, you force yourself to push through. Smart people don't do this. They literally quit right in the middle of a problem. In psychology, there is something called the Zeigarnik Effect. It states that our brains remember uncompleted tasks way better than completed ones. If you stop studying right in the middle of a difficult concept and go take a shower or play a video game, your subconscious brain keeps working on the problem in the background. Stop grinding when you're stuck. Walk away. Let your brain do the heavy lifting while you're literally on the couch. Habit 3, high IQ students have incredibly ugly notes. I know the study vloggers are going to hate me for this, but if you are using 4 different colored pastel highlighters and a ruler to draw your charts, you aren't studying. You are doing arts and crafts. It's productive procrastination. The smartest people I know use what's called the Feynman Technique. They take a messy blank sheet of paper and they try to explain the concept out loud as simply as possible, as if they're talking to a 5-year-old. If you can't explain the Krebs cycle to your dog in simple English, drawing a beautiful diagram of it isn't going to help you pass the test. Ditch the aesthetics. Make it ugly. Make it simple. Habit number 4 is weaponized boredom. When you study the exact same subject for 3 hours, your brain literally stops registering the information. It gets bored. The neural pathways stop firing as strongly. It's like staring at a word so long that it stops looking like a real word. High IQ brains hate boredom, so they use a psychological trick called interleaving. They study math for 25 minutes. The second they feel bored, they don't force it. They drop it and switch to history for 25 minutes. Then they switch to biology. By constantly rotating the subjects, they keep their brains stimulated with novelty. They aren't building discipline, they're just tricking their dopamine receptors into staying awake. Habit 5, they do not trust themselves at all. We have this idea that smart people have superhuman willpower, that they can just sit down, ignore their phone, and focus. No, they are just as addicted to TikTok as you are. The difference is they know willpower is a limited resource, so they don't use it. Instead of keeping their phone on the desk and using all their mental energy trying not to look at it, they put the phone in another room. They use website blockers. They go to a library where they feel too awkward to watch YouTube. They are simply too lazy to rely on discipline, so they design an environment where doing the right thing is the easiest option. Habit 6 is crucial. They take do-nothing breaks. When you take a 10-minute study break, what do? You grab your phone and scroll. You think you're resting, but biologically, you're blasting your brain with new information. You aren't giving your brain time to digest what you just learned. Highly intelligent people activate what neuroscientists call the default mode network. This is the brain state that turns on when you are doing absolutely nothing. Staring at a wall, doing the dishes, taking a walk without music. This is the exact moment your brain connects the dots and moves information from short-term memory to long-term memory. If you want to remember more, you literally need to spend more time staring at the ceiling. And finally, habit number 7, the ultimate lazy hack. They sleep. There's a weird badge of honor in high school and college where people brag about getting 3 hours of sleep. Let me explain the neuroscience of sleep in one sentence. Studying is like typing a really long essay, and sleeping is hitting the save button. If you cram for 6 hours and then pull an all-nighter, you just typed a 10-page paper and unplugged the computer without saving. It's gone. High IQ students know that an extra 2 hours of sleep will literally get them a better grade than an extra 2 hours of blurry midnight studying. They aren't slacking off when they go to bed at 11 p.m. They're strategically locking in the data. So let's recap. You don't need to suffer to succeed. You don't need to burn yourself out to be worthy of a good grade. You just need to stop fighting your brain. Find the 20% that matters, make your notes ugly, switch subjects when you're bored, and for the love of everything, let yourself sleep. If you're watching this late at night, your homework for right now is to close this app, put your phone across the room, and go to bed. Start this tomorrow. Let's grow together without the burnout. Hit subscribe if you want to keep learning how your brain actually works, and I will see you in the next one.